What is something that you have been wanting to do or try or start and you haven't? Take a second and think about that. What's one thing that you've wanted to do that you haven't done? And then ask yourself, what are the excuses or the reasons that I'm telling myself that I can't do this thing? My name is Crystal Hoban, aka Crystal Clear Mystic, and I'm going to talk about that today. So, what makes you feel like you can't start the thing? What's making you feel like you're not ready for it or it's not the right time? Or, we can come up with thousands and thousands and thousands of excuses on why we shouldn't do the thing that we really want to do. But really, at the end of the day, all we're doing is depriving ourselves of our own joy, depriving ourselves of our own success, depriving ourselves of our own capabilities, right? When I think about my own experiences with this, I think about creating content and videos, right? And I was terrified to be seen. Absolutely terrified to be seen. Absolutely afraid to put myself on the camera and also have to watch it. I feel like this is something that a lot of people experience. So, like this idea that if we make a video, then we have to watch it and we have to hear our own voice, like, oh man, right? Like totally was in that headspace for a long time actually. And I started making content back in March of 2024. And I started making videos. And oh my gosh, did I want to be sick when I would watch them? Or did I hate how I sounded? Or was I overcritical about like the video, what I did, how I sounded, what I said? I could have said it this way, that way, right? Like all these different things. And to be really honest with you, it was very uncomfortable. One thing you might know about me is I'm not here to lie to you. I'm here to tell you how it is. And that's just like who I am through and through. So extremely uncomfortable. Really not fun to watch back the videos. Really did not enjoy like that part of it as much as I enjoyed the creating of them. And, over time, I started to get more and more and more comfortable and it became easier and it started to flow easier and I started to not overthink it as much and I started to be less critical, right? And so I think like with anything that you start or anything that you do, there is going to be this kind of like pushback in the beginning of anxiety and nervousness about what you're doing. And that ego and that mind is going to come up with all the reasons why you should not do that thing. You're not smart enough. Nobody's going to care what you have to say, right? Nobody's going to watch your content, right? I mean, I'm sure you can come up with tons of different things that come up for you around whatever it is that you're wanting to do, but you're holding yourself back from doing. And the reality is that it doesn't get easier by not doing it. By depriving yourself of taking the first step to just try and do the thing, you are only blocking yourself from the improvement and movement forward. And it's interesting because I'm thinking of this book that I read. It's called The Artist Way. And fantastic course if you've ever taken it or read the book. It's really great with doing some like shadow work and inner child work and starting to move forward differently. And one of the things that really is coming to mind as I'm saying this is like this idea that we think we have to be perfect like right away. We think that like everything that we want this thing to be has to be shown to us right away or else it's like not worth it, right? And it takes away the idea that things are a process and they happen over time. You're not going to be perfect right in the beginning. And even now, as I go through and I edit some of my videos and I look at some things like for tags and whatever on YouTube, I go back to some of my videos and like, And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did that. And then I also remember to myself, like, yeah, but that's where I started from. So you want to see some flops, go on back and check them out. But also, like, it shows the progress, the growth that I've been able to have over the course of creating videos and content over time, right? Yeah, they weren't the best in the beginning. Yeah, I was nervous as hell. Yeah, whatever. I could sit there and beat myself up about that, or I can just acknowledge that, like, I was a beginner. And it's funny because one thing I say to clients a lot is, like, whenever you're doing something new, I want you to imagine that you're a kindergartner. Okay. You're a kindergartner and you are starting this thing for the first time. So you're a little baby. Okay. A little baby. And I want you to imagine how many years it took you to get to college, to get to high school, to graduate, to get a degree, right? To become specialized, to get your certification. It took time. It's a process. It takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. Even Vincent van Gogh, which is one of my favorite painters, he painted those sunflower pictures. He painted probably like 3 of them a day, every single day. You want to be good at something, you have to practice the craft, right? You want to do something, then you got to practice to get better. And it's so funny because this is not just like when it comes to doing this thing that you want to start and do, maybe for work or maybe for creative endeavors or whatever it might be, right? This is also true when it comes to regulating your nervous system. This is also true when it comes to shifting your mindset. This is also true when it comes to learning to find happiness in your day to day life. These are active choices that you have to make to move forward. Practice makes perfect. And you have to practice and be consistent with that. I'm not saying that you got to do it every single day, but if what you're doing you love and you feel passionate and excitement about, then doing it every single day is going to feel easy and great. Why not find something that you can do every single day with passion and ease and excitement? Why not? Why do you feel like life has to be hard? Why do you feel like life has to be deprived of joy? Where does that come from for you? Right? You're listening to me and you're like, yeah, she's nuts, right? Where are your beliefs keeping you blocked in this idea that you're not supposed to have an exciting life, that you're not supposed to feel passion in this life, that it's not supposed to be fun? What is reinforcing that idea for you? Because that's what's blocking you from starting. That's what's blocking you from giving yourself a chance. That's what's blocking you from living the life that you desire and want so badly, but are so afraid to walk towards. So who's blocking you? You? We often are the only ones blocking ourselves. And it's not the easiest to see that or acknowledge that, but we can't change it if we don't face it. We can't change it if we don't acknowledge it. So let me ask you, what are you willing to start doing right now? What are you willing to do now and make a change now so that you can reach forward into the future? Leave it in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you guys share. If you would like to work with me one on one, my link is in my bio and you can take a look there. And as always, Love and light, sweet souls.